So I've been with Merseyside Police now for 9 years as a dyslexic officer. I've been given loads of opportunities to show what I can do and an opportunity to practice those. When we did our last video, it was in a very dynamic environment in the firearms world, but now I work on even bigger projects with even more complexities. At the minute I've got two roles. One is helping the force come to terms with the pandemic and how it has affected us in day-to-day business and keeping the force going. And secondly, I work with the ICT team with the move from our old Airways communication system to the country's newest emergency services network. I'm dyslexic, which means that I struggle decoding certain pieces of information, whether that be letters or words and sometimes numbers. So some day-to-day tasks can be a little bit tricky and take me a little bit longer to do. What it means always is I can also understand very complicated problems and how they all relate to one another in a very abstract view. I can understand principles or problems from many different angles, so I can see things through different lenses.
The main reason I brought Dom and Mike together for me was that, you know, Mike was an experienced officer. He was at a very different stage of his career. Dom was just starting his journey within Merseyside Police, and I thought what a great idea to bring two officers at different stages of the career, both with dyslexia, together to learn from each other.
I'm Dom, and I currently attach the Response and Resolution Department from Merseyside Police. So, within our Response and Resolution, we attend 999 calls, so emergency phone calls and priority calls, so which can vary from domestics, fights to mental health. Yeah, I've been in the force close to 3 years now. It's a challenging and demanding job. Doing this job with dyslexia obviously has a different aspect to it, and it throws a spanner in the works, having to deal with all the different complex situations that we go into. But it also has its advantages where we can use our skills and our knowledge and our outside thinking to think of other routes to deal with jobs and think of different aspects to our jobs as well.
I'll be honest, yeah, it's quite, it can be quite a lonely place sometimes if you think you're the only one. So I thought it's quite important to sort of reach out and explain that those difficulties have been faced before and there was a way to deal with it. And then together we could talk about what works and what didn't work. And Dom was able to introduce to me some ideas that even I hadn't thought of before.
Having Mike as a mentor has been hugely beneficial to me. Not only is he a friend, but he's also someone I can talk to about the job who understands and has also been through what I've been through. And he can also explain things in a way that I would understand. When I did join, I thought I'd be limited to certain roles. But after meeting Mike, then it just proves that the sky's the limit. You can go anywhere in this job. Dyslexia doesn't hold you back.
So my role entails meeting with staff and meeting with students who have already been diagnosed with dyslexia or other learning needs, for example, dyspraxia, dysgraphia, visual stress, ADHD, and then I work out how we can put reasonable adjustments in place. That can be in the classroom or in the workplace, depending on their role, really. A perfect example of inclusion at the moment in our force is Dom and Mike, how they've come together to support each other with the introduction from Steph.
So I've had the privilege of speaking to some bosses about my experience. They've got in contact with me and given the opportunity to speak to new tutor cons. This gave me a good experience to get my point and my story across to them, but also for them to ask the questions so they can get a better understanding how to potentially see the signs of dyslexia. Once people are more aware of your circumstances, they're more willing to open up and ask you questions, and they're also willing to learn themselves a bit more about yourself. I found personally within my team, people have asked me questions and they're really keen on getting my input and asking what's the best way to help support me.
Inclusion is really important for the force to celebrate and acknowledge, because everybody in all walks of life, they are different, and if we were all the same it would be really boring. We wouldn't achieve anything really. If it's like if you had a football team and they were all strikers, you'd probably let a lot of goals in because you've not got that defence. So we need to accept how everybody thinks differently, and we can learn from them. We can learn those skills, and it'll help the force as one team reach the goals that they have set. There's research that shows neurodiverse people make really good police officers and detectives because they can think outside of the box, whereas somebody who isn't neurodiverse, they think in one particular way. Neurodiverse brain sort of takes a long route round, so they cover every single aspect. They don't just go straight to the point. So they make really good investigators.
Inclusion isn't one of those management buzzwords. It actually means providing people like me with the option to achieve the same goals as everybody else, and without those options there are certain things I would not and could not have been able to achieve.
So inclusion to me is all working together towards the same goal. Leadership, bonding, team working, and having people support you in a way that you can bring your own confidence out, which can help in everyday aspects of my career. The more confident I feel, the better service I can give to Merseyside.